welcome back, you guys. You're listening to the Shmee podcast. I am your host, Sam Pellicero, at Not Sam Pellicero on Instagram and at Shmee podcast. You guys, guess who is back as the co-host of the day? My mom, the one and only
Mama Thurston.
She's like, I don't know what to call myself. Oops. So, in the theme of all things October spooky horror monster, I wanted to do an episode on the horrors of the hospital. And with my mom being a nurse, literally, if I only knew, she can't tell me a lot of things because it will literally make her lose her nursing license. What is that? What is that?
It's a dehumidifier.
Oh my.
You gotta shut the door.
Yeah, I'm gonna go shut the door really quick.
Okay. Back after this.
That's much better. I was like, what? The horrors also, the demons start coming out.
That's right.
That's what it sounded like. Well, we just saw It Chapter 2, so I'm still having residual spooks and scares.
I know.
As I was setting up, I just kind of caught myself in the mirror, like across the way. And I just thought to myself, just like how he's just like, we all float down here, Georgie.
Yeah, or he pops up behind you.
I mean, seriously. I mean, but it was really, really good, though. I loved it.
It was, yeah. I watched a couple things. I'm like, something's happening.
I know. You kept covering your face. I mean, I think our favorite part was when Beverly's demon, I guess, she had a face. And she was at her old house, and then Pennywise took over the old lady, and she ran out like the demon form, and her like old lady saggy titties like are all flopping all over the place, and you and I were dying. Yeah. I was like, they had to do that. They just had to put that in there.
Or they was gonna go down the basement. We're like, nope.
Oh yeah, yeah. Every time.
No.
I was like, I'm just gonna go. I don't know. I guess when you're 27 years later, you have nothing else left to lose.
That's true.
Anyways.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just dive right into the horrors of the hospital because growing up, I've always been afraid of the hospital. And I'm not sure where that came from because looking back, I didn't have any sort of like traumatic experience where the hospital was a place that I had to fear. But I've always had a weird uncomfortability with the idea of like it being so clean and white and like the lighting and sterile, like that sense of it being sterile always freaked me out.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were in Belgium? Do you remember getting an MRI?
Which is so funny is because you've told me about this before, and I've never been afraid of getting MRIs. Why was I freaking out then?
Well, no, but I think as a child, they probably most of the time they sedate you a little bit. They give you something, yeah, because you have to hold still.
Wait, what was the reason I was getting one?
Headaches, and then
Interesting.
Well, headaches, and then when they did like a neurological exam on you, I guess some of your reflexes weren't what they should have been.
Weird.
So they were thinking like migraines, but they did an MRI to make sure you didn't have a brain tumor. So, and then they diagnosed you with having migraines.
Which is so weird because I could not tell you.
No, but trying to give you migraine medicine, that's a horror story.
Oh wait, is that when all those moments of me with the pills?
Yes.
That was over the migraine medicine?
Well, it started with the vitamins first. Mister, that's when you're pathological lying about taking stuff.
Yes. I remember you guys were shoving it into things like ham, cupcakes,
fucking
ice cream.
Chocolate pudding.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, it's chocolate pudding.
Well, maybe that's why I don't like chocolate pudding, is it's like some weird PTSD
at the time,
memory.
I didn't think about like crushing it like a drug dealer or something.
We weren't that kind of a family.
But yeah, we could not get medication in you, like a pill.
So weird. Because remember how I was making fun of someone in my life throwing a temper tantrum as a 30-year-old over taking pills that were the size of a multivitamin, like an everyday multivitamin. And he's like, "These are horse size." I'm like, those are not what? Yeah. But so I always laugh at the fact that the hospital triggers me to pass out.
Yeah. Like when Emma, your younger sister, was in the hospital when she was like
Yes.
5.
Yeah.
And yeah, our friends brought you and your brother and sister to visit her.
Yes.
And because I had to stay there with her. And you just seen the IV in her arm. You had to like lay in the bed with her.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
I don't remember that.
You did. You're like, I don't feel good. I'm like, get in the bed.
You sound like the nurse that I just dealt with the other day.
You had to lay. You did not feel, because you couldn't look at, like, had to cover her arm with the blanket.
That's
Just
so
seeing
dramatic.
the IV in her arm.
That is so dramatic, Sam.
Well,
Shocker.
shocker. Sam drama.
Well, I mean, it's just so funny because it has nothing to do with needles or blood. Like, I can deal with that kind of stuff. I just think.
What?
No, but it's
You cannot.
It is with someone else. I could easily give someone else an IV or deal with blood in that way.
You can't deal with needles.
No, but it's just weird because when it comes to me, for some reason, like when they put them in me, I just get so flustered.
Yeah.
Like the other day when I got my HIV test, then people are like, what?
Plot twist.
I don't have AIDS, so it's okay. The nurse was so funny because, I mean, I just went to the LGBTQAI plus center. I can never say it right. And supercalifragilisticexpialidocious center. And they are, there used to be people coming there all the time for the free clinic. And I didn't have any symptoms. There was no real reason for me to be there, but because I was watching Pose on FX, I was like, I have AIDS. And the nurse was like, people don't get AIDS anymore. AIDS is not a thing anymore. The nurse was like, stop watching Pose. It's in 1990. We didn't have the medicine we have now. And he was just like the funniest, sassiest black man. He was not having it with me. And I'll never forget, like when I was explaining to him why I was there, he goes, you're all about the dramatics, aren't you? It's like, girl, he goes, I'm gonna have to be the mother today. I'm gonna have to be the mother today. And so all it is for the rapid test is a literal poke on your finger.
It's a finger stick, yeah.
Finger stick,
Take
which is
one drop of blood.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And it was like he pricked me and I was like, oof. and then he was squeezing my finger to get the blood out in that like miniature little vial. And I was like, oof. And he saw me go flush. He goes, no. And he literally ran to the sink with the cold water, takes a handful of cold water, and just like dumps it on my forehead. And he takes my hand, puts it on my forehead, and he's like, rub. He goes, rub. And I was like, okay. He goes, keep rubbing. And then he went out to get something, and I felt like I was still gonna pass out, so I got back up to go to the sink. And when I walked in, he saw me at the sink, and he goes, "Oh Lordy!" He goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Get back in the bed."
If this wasn't about you being at the clinic,
oh, I know.
This could be a whole other story.
Oh, I know.
Rub, get back in bed. If somebody missed the beginning of this story, they're like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
Yeah, but so I just think it's so bizarre that I always pass out, and I don't understand. And there's only been one time where I haven't passed out because I remember she had me so distracted. She was like, play the game on your phone. Here, chew some gum. She did all the right things to keep me stimulated. And then, that was about it. Also, it doesn't help that most of the time when I draw blood, I haven't ate in like 12 hours.
Yeah, you're not feeling good.
Not feeling well, yeah. But it's so bizarre, too, that another time that I ended up in the hospital was when I passed out at work and my heart apparently stopped. And I will never forget that week. I was like, Mom, I don't feel so well. Mm-hmm. Like, Sam, you're, whatever, just take some emergency, take an Advil, ibuprofen, whatever.
Nurse mom.
Yeah, nurse mom. And the entire week I just was not feeling great. And then that day at work, it was just so rough on me. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget going to the bathroom and something hit me in the bathroom and I went flush and I was trying to get through all these drink orders because I was working at the coffee shop and I just knew I felt that break of sweat.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I'm done. And I sat down. My friend Max walked in. He goes, dude, what is wrong with you?
Sitting in the bathroom.
Yeah. And I was like, Max, I think I'm going to pounce. And then that was it. And then I woke up on the floor like at least 5 minutes later. And then they rushed me to the hospital. They did a whole EKG on me. Max told them that my heart stopped. He was like, you didn't have a pulse.
Yeah, no, it's because Max panicked. I mean,
probably.
Did not.
But they had no idea what was wrong with me.
You have a weak vagus nerve.
That's what it is. Yes, vagus nerve.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
So, sorry to all the doctors out there who have to deal with me passing out all the time. I passed out on the floor. I've passed out on the doctor's table. I passed out in my car. Passed out at the coffee shop. Where else have I passed out? Oh, at the dirty doctor that I go to, but I'm no longer going.
Yeah, don't go back there.
I'm not.
This is nasty.
They're stained on the floor. The fact that there's a fish tank and there's no fish in there.
It's because they can't keep it clean. They're like, we're just going to let it be dusty.
Yeah, I mean, it's gross.
Sam sends me pictures when he's in the waiting room.
Oh.
Like torn furniture. I'm like,
yes.
what the hell?
Like, where are you?
Never
again. Never. And I remember everyone was like making jokes. They're like, if you did have AIDS, it was from that place.
Yeah. Did you scratch yourself at the doctor's office?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But I digress. So, Mom. Any hospital horror stories?
Oh my God. I do have some.
Yeah, I want to hear some.
It's like, people just have no idea. That's why I laugh when I see those videos like on Facebook. Like I just shared one recently, which I thought was hilarious, but a guy was like, if you're married to a nurse.
That redneck guy. Yeah.
So funny, but so true. But I love at the end, he's like, love your nurses. You don't know what they deal with. Yeah, that's so true. So true. Like a horror story? Well, when...
One Halloween.
Yeah. No. Well, one time I had this patient when I was working on a cardiac floor, which is for people with heart problems. And one time I had this patient who had, it's called a pacemaker, but they can also, when you get a pacemaker, that's if your heart pauses a lot or has a really slow beat, they can put a pacemaker in. But if your heart stops a lot, like for extended periods of time, they'll put in like a defibrillator with the pacemaker. So you know how when they're like shock, like
yes.
So you can have one internally that will do that to your heart if it stops for too long. So this guy came in because his had fired. And so when that happens, they put him through more, they put him through more like cardiac testing and find out, if it's malfunctioning or if it's not set on the right settings and all this stuff. So he was a nervous wreck because it had fired when he was at home. So it's like getting a shock.
Yes.
On your chest.
Yes.
You're just like, I don't feel good. And then, and so he called, like did the call light. So I went in the room and, he's like,
oh no.
He's like, I don't feel good, but I need to go to the bathroom. And he, so I'm walking him to the bathroom. He's like, oh God. He's like, oh, and he like and his defibrillator shocked him.
Okay.
And, but I was holding on to him. So I was like, oh, I let go. I'm like, I don't know if I can be touching you. Like, is this like when we're doing the defibrillator?
Yes.
And you should not be touching the person?
Yes.
But I had like this panic.
You let go of him. Did he fall?
No, but he like bent over and then I grabbed onto him and I was like, help. So another nurse came in and I said, his defibrillator just shocked. I go, can we be touching him? Because it might go off again. And this poor guy.
He's all embarrassed.
No, this poor guy was like, I need to sit down. And it was just, funny.
That's
I mean, it wasn't funny.
terrifying.
It was terrifying for him, but then it shocked again, and he then was on
Can
the
you die from that?
No, but it's keeping his heart going,
Oh,
basically.
okay,
I
okay.
mean,
Yeah,
because
yeah, 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 yeah.
it senses that his heart is not
Uh-huh,
functioning correctly.
uh-huh.
So it's like, girl, get yourself together. So,
Oh my God.
So yeah, so then he was on the floor, and
Mhm.
he was like awake, but he was obviously, because it does hurt, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
It gives him some pain. And then we were just like, okay, so how are we going to get him into bed? Because I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be touching him when this thing goes off. Like, I did not know. So we're like, get a sheet. This is a horror story for the patients, by the way. Not for me. They're listening to this like dumbass bitch. I'm like, taking care of it. We were like, so we took a sheet because we weren't sure. And so he's sitting on the floor. And so we took a sheet and like wrapped it under his arms so that we could support him with the sheet. And not
This
actually,
is crazy.
Not actually touch him. So we were like,
He's like, I'm a leper.
so the sheet was like under his arms, and we're just like holding the sheet. And we took him back to his bed. Oh my God, it was so. So then we go after like a little debriefing. Like, okay, can we touch?
Yeah.
The thing's going
Yeah.
up. Like, are we gonna get shocked? Are we
Uh-huh,
gonna I mean, they were like,
Is he gonna
yeah.
be the Flash? What is happening? He's a superhero now.
Can he read my mind now?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
God, it
exactly.
was so funny. I mean, it was not funny for him, but
No.
yeah, we're like, get a sheet. Like, we're gonna drag him back to bed with a sheet.
I just picture like someone walking by and then walking back, like, what in the hell?
I know.
So
Thank God
wild.
his family wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
suing this place.
Mhm.
They won't touch my husband.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. And then here's another. Well, this isn't good, but so cardiac floor again.
Yeah.
So I had a patient that was I think he'd had a heart attack or something, but he was getting ready to go home. So, and an older gentleman too. But so he's, we're getting ready to discharge him. His ride's coming to pick him up,
Okay.
so I go in and go through all the discharge instructions with him. And this is an older man.
Okay.
And, take off when you're on the cardiac floor, they always have a heart monitor on, which we can monitor like at the station.
Oh, okay, cool.
The nurse's station. And depending on, what hospital you're in, but we also had a hospital where there was actually a telemetry room where somebody's job was to watch all the patients on heart monitors.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Wow. Okay.
But so this guy, so I went in, I was discharging him. So I took off the heart monitor.
Yeah.
I took out his IV, everything. I got him dressed. So he's sitting in the bed. And I go back in, like I left because we did everything, and I left and was doing something else, and I went back in just to see if anybody had arrived yet, and he was dead. It's not funny. But he was legit sitting in the bed, and he was like he looked like he was sleeping, and I was like, Mr. So-and-so, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, fuck me, fuck. And he was dead. But so after that, I would get patients dressed and everything for discharge. I'm like, when your ride gets here, I will come in and take this heart monitor off you, and I will take your IV out. But I am not taking you off.
Where was that? Is it here?
No. I want to say that was San Diego. It was either San Diego or Virginia. But yeah, no, he
Talk about a plot twist.
yeah. He's dead. So I yell like code blue.
Yes.
Press the button on the
blue,
wall.
like why?
So
Because they turn
we're
blue.
like doing like, because I panicked, but he was actually do not resuscitate. And so the problem is once you start,
you can't stop.
you can, but the doctor.
Is he like mid pump? Like, oh, it says do not resuscitate. Oh, we're done. Okay.
Yeah. But then, so I remember one of the doctors calling his wife, and she was, he's a DNR, and like going back and forth, and we're all like, oh my God. I mean, we ended up not being able to bring him back, but it was just like, he was perfectly fine. He like sitting there, ate
Weird.
his breakfast. Yeah.
Conspiracy.
So, but yeah, after that, I was like, nope, that shit does not come off until until you're ready to roll out the door, literally. Because if he was on the monitor,
you guys would have known.
yeah, we would have known.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But like,
Jesus, I was not expecting that.
No.
He was dead.
He was dead. Yeah. So that stuff happens, Yeah, happens.
Well, it's just so funny because I always wonder what the conversation about me is once I leave the doctor's office.
Oh God.
Because I always just tend to leave my mark wherever I go,
Yeah.
like the hurricane that I am. And one of the moments where to this day I wonder, like, what? I guarantee you they still talk about me to this day was when on my 18th birthday when I got into a car accident. Okay, so for those who do not know, on my 18th birthday, I was visiting family in Michigan, where we are from, and I don't know, it was probably around like 11:30 at night. I was driving back from McDonald's with my cousin's friend. We were minding our business.
Minding our business, like what else are we doing?
Well, you don't know, whatever. We're doing our thing, jamming out to whatever was on the radio in 2009, probably Black Eyed Peas or something. And so we were going through an intersection where there's a stoplight. There's a stoplight going straight, but then there's stop signs to cross or something. I don't know how.
And it wasn't, at the time, I don't think it was a stoplight. It was just like a flashing yellow. Because it was by the hospital entrance.
Because of me. That's right. They put it in because of me. So I did a good thing for the world.
Oh, geez.
So my near-death experience created that stoplight. I remember that now. That actually is the truth.
It used to just be a flashing yellow light. Mm-hmm.
So we were going through that flashing yellow light, and all of a sudden we just get struck by this gigantic red truck. And if it was not for me noticing the truck was running the stop sign, he would have T-boned. So we ended up T-boning him.
God.
And we were going like at least 55, 60 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And he was just blew right through the stop sign. If we didn't see him, he would have T-boned us, killing me.
Oh, God.
Because I was in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And then they took us to the hospital. But what was so crazy is to this day, I have zero memory of that incident. I only have memory of arriving to Grandma Pell's house that day and then seeing my cousin Taylor and the whole family. I have no memory of the rest of the day. And then the only thing that I remember was being in the hospital afterwards. Because to my knowledge, actually, it's a lie. The only thing I do remember is that instance right before we crashed. I remember being like, Brianna!
Yeah.
And then hearing the sound of crunching metal.
Oh, God.
And just like that burst of fumes. I'll never forget that smell. And then that was it. And then I woke up in the hospital bed. For a while, I thought that's what would happen. And they're like, no, Sam, you were conscious the entire time. Which is crazy to me. And they said that I was acting not like myself.
Well, yeah, you had a head injury.
And I just laughed too, because apparently one of the things that I did was I was like having these like 10-second Tom moments that my dad calls it, because there's this character in 50 First Dates where Adam Sandler goes to the it's not the mental hospital, it's like the neurology section of the hospital where people who have brain injuries go. And there's this guy named 10-Second Tom where he only remembers 10 seconds and he's on repeat. My dad said for like half an hour that I was in that state. Just being like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And then it would reset. And I remember he was like, this is how he's going to be for the rest of his life. Like, shit.
God.
Yeah. And they said I was just being like super just like eccentric and weird. I was saying a lot of like nonsense.
Yeah.
And then apparently when they knew that I came back too, was when I had apparently gone to the bathroom. And this is right before I remember coming back too. Was apparently I went to the bathroom once after they did an MRI, which I have zero memory of. After they had all these checks on me, yada, yada, yada. They let me go to the bathroom alone. Apparently I came out of the bathroom and I was like, my penis is still there. It's all good. And they're like, Sam's back. Okay.
He's all good. He can be going
yeah.
out.
And it was just so weird is that in that whole time that was happening, in my reality, I was in this white room.
Oh, weird.
And I was like, I remember being alone in this like just white, endless space.
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's scary.
And I remember thinking to myself, I died.
Oh, God.
I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead. And I'll never forget
Yeah.
this person approached me
Oh.
in the white room. And I wasn't saying it out loud. I was thinking it in my head.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at them thinking, you know, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. And the person said back to me, you're not dead yet. You're not dead yet. And then in that moment, I came back too.
Oh, so it maybe, I mean, that's not a near death experience because you were not
Yes.
like dying or anything.
Yes.
Just had jostled your brain.
Well, it is near death because we could have died.
Well, okay.
Mom, no. So I also have pictures of the car.
I know, but you were not like.
Well, no.
Like,
I wasn't physically in any sort of harm.
Right.
But it was a near death experience because.
But doesn't that make you wonder though about psychics and things like that?
Oh yes.
Because
yes.
do you think because it's like something in your brain,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So.
yeah.
And if you jostle your brain around,
Oh yeah.
like, you can cause permanent damage, or you can just maybe change the wiring a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so
I get it.
did you feel like, because I know you're always like, oh, I see dead people, but do you feel, I wonder if you had those sort of, for lack of a better word, abilities before you got in your car accident?
No. So there is this theory when it comes to opening up your mind or being able to sense spirits and the other, universes and dimensions, is they always say it comes after an experience like that. Something so traumatic that it's almost as if this part of you opens up. And oddly enough, I remember the days leading up to that car accident and everything. I was in that limbo of I didn't know what I was going to do next because I just graduated high school.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, I don't know what my next steps are in life. And I remember just being so disinterested in the person that I was back then because I wasn't who I wanted to be. And it's almost as if turning 18, it was like a landmark of that's the end of that person.
Yeah.
And then this is the beginning of this person.
Oh, well.
Spooky.
Well,
yeah.
not spooky, but
yeah, I don't know. But
interesting.
even though it was an insane situation, I just laughed at all of the comedy that came out of it. And the fact they literally installed a stoplight. And I was like, why can't it be like the San Pellicero stoplight?
Change the name of the road to the hospital.
First you guys got a fucking high school and now you want a stoplight?
I know. Settle down.
I'm sorry. Were you guys watching that? The full-length episodes of Shmee are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, y'all. What are y'all waiting for? The links are below. I'll see you guys there. Bye!